At FCR, we work with a lot of pastors, and they are of all different church sizes, of all different growth areas, and a lot of them are growing. And even if they have healthy tithes and offerings coming into the church, along the way, sometimes it's very helpful to have a financial partner come from a lending, from a financing standpoint, and really help to get to that next step. And one of the things I asked you a while back was, what would you recommend to other pastors, other churches who are looking for a lending partner, and it might even be 12 months down the road? What would you say to them to prepare themselves to get ready to talk to a lender? What do they need to bring to the table? How should they approach that, and what should they be considering when looking at a partner?
That's a key thing, and I want to share the miracle story. Don't let me forget that. Every lender, okay, we started going to all the lenders. Once we finally got our church going, and got it where we had hundreds of people, we're renting a warehouse, and it was starting to fill up. We needed a building, and I didn't realize they want everything from you. They want, the more professional you can show up, the more impressed they are, because they're taking a risk on you no matter what you think. They're taking a risk on you. And so we had cash flow statements, we had profit and loss, we had trend analysis, like from the last couple of years. Here's our growth trend, here's our percentage of salaries, here's our giving, here's our top 100 donors, not with names but with amounts, because then they can judge, is your church all one person writing a big check, and if you offend that person they're gone, or is it 100 people all giving similar amounts? So we had all this data prepared for them, and that just made them take us serious. It's what they needed. You should be tracking that anyways. And so all that led to them seeing us in a better light and being more excited about doing it. I also realized that there are people that don't have a clue about church, because they'd be like, well, you spend that much on personnel? And I'm like, well, that we do ministry with people. Like, that's where it goes. We don't sell widgets. There's nothing to sell. I mean, it's faith. We are a faith community ministering to people. That's why the salary. Oh, that's too high salary. Salary needs to be 15%, 20%. I'm like, have you ever loaned to a church before? So those were the things that getting in shape, like somebody that understands church, somebody that you're prepared to go to, and then also you just have to be in good shape financially yourself. Here's what happened. The first time I met with a lender wasn't you guys, it was a different one. And the banker is sitting in my office and he says, Pastor Rob, you're never going to get a building. I said, what do you mean? He's like, okay, just to let you know, your tithe isn't high enough. Your credit card debts that you and your wife have, $120,000 now that is in debt in your name. Like, you got to get rid of the debt, and you don't have anything in your building fund. Like, if you want a building, you got to have money down. You don't have enough. And I was like, all right. He goes, yeah, I hate to break the news to you. You're not getting, like, your financials. I can't even read this, like Excel, whatever. That's not what we need. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm devastated. We're growing in a warehouse. We need a building. We need something. And he leaves my office. Now, I'm just going to let you know, my wife is here as my witness. There's no evangelistic flavor crystals on this story, because she says, that wasn't exactly how it went. And I said, well, I just put a few flavor crystals on it, make it taste better. And so this is full-on no flavor crystals. This guy's leaving my office. I'm devastated. And there's a new family in the church that's been coming 4 months, and they're sitting right there. And so immediately, the banker has killed my dream in my office, and I walk by and I see this family, and so I gotta be God's man of faith and power. And so I'm like, hey, just talking to the banker about building stuff, see you later, banker. And I'm all, hey, what can I do for you guys? And inside I'm like, I'm ready to die, I'm ready to quit. It's over, I'm never getting a building. Oh, Visa, And they said, hey, we just wanted to talk to you. How would you like us to handle a large gift to the church? I said, just put it in the offering, just write the check, you drop it in, and I was just devastated. And they go, because it's a large, we want to do a large gift. I said, well, if it's large, you could give it to the business guy, and then, no, the ushers wouldn't see it. You could just give it to the business guy. They say, okay, because it's a large gift. Well, how many know if they say 3 times, large gift, you got to ask, right? So I said, well, like, how big of a gift? They said, $500,000. And I said, well, come on in the office, you know, like, they said, we need to tithe $500,000. And I said, do you need to tithe on $500,000 or do you need to tithe $500,000? Because that's a big difference. Extra zero, you know? And they said, well, we had a pending land deal going through for 5 years, and it's for $5,400,000 or $5.4 million. And we just want to give 10% to the Lord because the deal has finally come through, you know? And so the tithe would be like $540,000, right? And I said, yes, it would. So amazing. So now, here's the thing. Devastation in the office. Yes. The miracle was in the lobby. They passed each other.
Right.
They passed each other, and they basically, in order to avoid capital gains, they signed us 10% of the property, and so we were 10% owners at the day of the sale. I showed up, put my signature on the day of the sale. They signed it. I got a check for $540,000 directly to the church, and in that one day, it was all tithe. It eliminated all of our debt, and we put $250,000 in our building fund, and we gave 60,000 donations. Is that not incredible? I mean, so to me, even in my stupidity, God's like, don't worry, I got a miracle. I ain't gonna bail you out all the time, but, you know, so I'm just saying God loves His church more than we do.
It's true.
God loves His church more than we do. Now, you can do sound financial principles, and you need to do everything you can to position yourself as a good steward of any miracle that He brings you, but don't give up hope. Don't let somebody squash your dream.